Welcome to yet another session of the Tuesday Morning Uke Club. And so today we are going to work on 7th chords, and we're going to practice using our 7th chords on a blues song. A 12-bar blues song that's going to use our A7th, D7th, and E7th chords. And so lots of people, when they're playing the uke, they know C, F, G. They may have learned G7. That may be the first 7th chord that people learn, all right? But we're going to add to your 7th chord repertoire knowledge, and then we will start putting it to use, all right? Okay, so first of all, Janine's on, but we're going to do our stretch one more time. Always start the uke club with a hand stretch. Let's get ready to play. So bring your thumb, touch the end of your index finger, your middle finger, stretch back, ring finger, stretch back, pinky, stretch back, and come back, pinky, ring finger, middle finger, and index finger. Very good. You just pull back in your hand, just do a bit of a stretch of those muscles. All right, and there we go. So stretch out, and then we are ready to play. Okay, I'm presuming everyone's in tune, but this is always a good time. Check if you're in tune, whether you're using a headstock tuner. Looks like it is not bad, not bad. Remember, our uke sings its basic song, "My dog has fleas." If your uke feels like it's close, all right? I don't ask for perfection in tuning, but if we have an app on our phone or we have a headstock tuner, there's no excuse to try not to be in perfect tune, all right? Okay, here we go. So in fact, just tuning your uke, if you are challenged for time to practice, even just, on a daily basis or every couple days, tuning your uke recreates a connection, and you're probably going to play a few chords, and that helps you not lose some of the knowledge that we learned from week to week. Okay. So let's do a chord progression. Let's remind ourselves of some of our basic chords. Let's go through C, A minor, and F and G7. All right. And we're just going to walk through that progression. The progression is a group of chords connected together. All right. And songs generally are built on it. We all learn C. So just as a reminder, there we go. 3rd finger at the 3rd fret of the first visible line going down the back of the neck of your ukulele, right? And so we like that. We like the thumb in that place because it allows your hand more of a hinge. And so it allows you to press more directly on the strings, as well as being able to laterally shift back and forth a little bit, right? So there's our A minor. Drop our 1st finger down at the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and there becomes our F chord. And then keep your 1st finger in place. Take a little bit towards the headstock of the uke, gives your 3rd finger a little bit more space to get down and press down pretty directly. So we want to feel that our fingers are pressing pretty directly. You don't want to be clenching your uke, right? But if you find yourself with your thumb coming up over the top of the fretboard, forgive yourself, just put it back, right? The idea being that if you practice with good hand position, you're very likely to be playing with good hand position. So let's go through, and for our right hand, we often do just a thumb strum, but why don't we let's take our 1st finger, and we're going to let's do an 8th note strum. So this is, downstroke is going to be the outside of the finger. Upstroke is going to be with the other side of the finger like this, all right? I want you to follow through as you do downstroke at the 1st string. Follow through, and then we'll finish on C, all right? So there's our warm-up. You can practice. If you can easily move between C, A minor, F, and G7, a huge amount of the music written for the ukulele available to you. Those are the 4 primary chords. Because the uke sings in, and actually, before I do that, maybe let's do a couple of the 7th chords some of them are pretty accessible. Why don't we start? So the C major chord. We use our 3rd finger. It's the first one we ever learned. Take your 1st finger and press down at the 1st fret of the 1st string. There's C7. There's your C7th chord. All right. Now take your first finger and drop it down to the first fret of the third string, there's A7. All right? If you take your first finger, put it at the first fret of the second string, and you know how to take our second and third fingers, place them at the second fret of the third and first strings respectively. There's G7, one of the first chords we learned. Okay, but let's start there. Let's bring up our chord. Soundsmith ukuleles in Bend, Oregon. I'm playing one of their tenors. I don't get paid for saying anything about Soundsmith, but man, I really like their ukes, and I like their chord chart too. Okay, so let's start. Okay, all right. So here we go. There's the G7. All right, so let's just, for those who are still kind of wondering about G7, let's read the chord chart. When you see a clear dot above the top of the chord chart, that means where the string that the dot is above means that's playing an open string. So think of O for open, all right? So in this case, the fourth string, the string that's closest to your chin, you're gonna play that without fretting anywhere on it, okay? All right. This bubble here, that's gonna be your first finger at the first fret of the second string. Here's gonna be your second finger at the second fret of the third string. And here is your third finger at the second fret of the first string. G7 sounds like that. All right, there we go. All right, I'm gonna turn the spotlight off for a second, and let's pick up our next chord. All right, let's see. All right, C7. We just talked about the C7th chord, right? And here, you're simply gonna be pressing down the first fret of the first string, leaving the second, third, and fourth strings open. It's a beauty, all right? And I love those chords. The chords that use open strings are called, ironically, open position chords, all right? If you play a chord that where every string is fretted, that's a closed position chord. For most of our ukuleles, all right, for most of our ukes, open strings create more resonance, more vibration in the body of your uke, thus a more beautiful and louder sound. So I recommend to my students use open position voicings of your chords as much as you can. Okay, now here's one. So this is a little different. All right, this is a little different. Look at this. So here's A7. Oops, let me shift the chord down a little bit. So A7. So here's how we played A7 earlier. We said, take your first finger, put it at the first fret of the third string. And there, the rest of the strings are played open. So a bit of a glitch in this chord chart is that there's no O's over where the open strings are. And I recommend that three of those strings be played open, okay? However, you can, in this case, you can also play this chord by, here's a voicing. You can take your third finger and put it at the third fret of the second string. And with that note is a G, all right? And I'll tell you something, I actually prefer leaving that string to be open because this string open is also a G. So here it's kind of a duplicate voicing. It has G twice in the chord, whereas if you leave this string open, that's an E. And so to my ears, it actually is has more resonance. It's a better sounding voicing to my ear. But you may find that there's a song that you're playing when taking this voicing combined with other chords, this may be convenient to play, all right? But I would recommend keep it simple. Use as many open strings as possible and use just the press down at the first fret of the third string for A7. Okay, what else we got here? Okay, let's take a look at D7. So here's another interesting challenge, okay? So this is a voicing of the D7th chord that uses that where where you're fretting down on all the strings. This group here, I recommend the way most people will play this is that they will use their first finger as a bar, and they'll press down with their first finger, press down at the second fret, with more emphasis of pressing down on the second, third, and fourth strings. So your finger is going to go across like this. Your thumb is going to be on the other side of the neck, right opposite the first finger that's acting as a bar. And then take your second finger and press down at the 3rd fret, where you would normally play the C chord, okay? And so this D7th chord sounds like this. All right? And that's a pretty cool sounding chord. And for more intermediate players, the idea that this is what we call a closed position chord, because there are no open strings. And one of the beauties of playing closed position chords is that this becomes movable. So for example, if you have the bar of your first finger at the 2nd fret, that's a D, that's a D7th. If you move your bar, that first finger, up to the 4th fret and make that chord happen at the 4th fret so that your second finger is at the 5th fret, right? That becomes an E7th. Move it up one more fret to the 5th fret, that becomes an F7th, all right? Now on my ukulele, those closed position chords, as you move up the neck, they don't sound all that good. So I have another option for you that's even easier to play. So let's go back, and we're only going to press down on these 2 points right here. We're going to take our second finger, our middle finger, and we're going to press down at the 2nd fret of the 4th string. And we're going to take our 3rd finger and press down here at the 2nd fret of the 2nd string and leave the 1st and 3rd strings open and make that D7th. And to my ear, to my fingers, that's easier to play, all right? Because I don't have to press down across I don't have to have the strength of my fingers to make the bar. And it actually is a more open sounding chord. So use open strings as much as you can. So this is for our exercise today. We will use this simpler version, and in my mind, better sounding version of D7. And where else do I want to go today? We're going to play the E7th chord. So this is a beauty. Let's take a look at this one. So this one, you're going to take your first finger and press down at the 1st fret of the 4th string. Okay, there we go. That makes a G sharp. And then we're going to press down with our second finger at the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. That makes a D, right? And then our 3rd finger, the 2nd fret of the 1st string, and leave the 2nd string open. And that's what that chord sounds like. It's a nice one. All right, here we go. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to keep the chord list up because lots of you guys, and I'm not going to do F7th A, just because you're rarely going to see it. Okay, so I'll leave that up. And let's play a little bit of chord flashcards. So let's start off with the C7th chord. All right. And we're just going to do 4. We'll keep strumming. So downstroke, downstroke. Here we go. Get ready. We're going to move to G7. Take your time. Work it out. All right. Now we're going to get ready to go to A7th. First finger at the 1st fret of the 3rd string. There we go. And here, since you see the chord, you can try both voicings of the chord. They're both valid. I'll go for the easier one. All right, now we're going to play D7. You can play the voicing that's on the page here, or you can use the voicing I'm using. The voicing I'm using, just a reminder, 2nd finger is pressing down the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and 3rd finger is pressing down the 2nd fret of the 2nd string. Now get ready. Now we're going to make the shift to E7. Get that 1st finger at the 1st fret of the 4th string. It's a beauty. Let's go back to A7. All right. Let's go back to E7. Let's go to G7. Let's go to C7. All right. Cool. So I'm going to turn the chord chart off for a second. When you're learning new chords, sometimes you work through and you say, okay, what is that chord? And you make it, and you figure out how to get your fingers into the right shape and getting a good sound from the chord shape. But you should practice playing that chord in conjunction with, in sequence with other chords, right? Even if all you're doing is playing G7 to A7. Practice taking 2 chords and just practice moving between those, all right? Because as we know, in order to play a song effectively, you really, in order to feel that you've got that chord really internalized, you should be able to play the chord without having to look at the fretboard, all right? And you should be able to eventually, with enough practice, be able to go through those chords with your eyes closed. So G7, A7, C7, D7, E7. All right, so work towards that. Because by not having to look down and focus on where your fingers are going, it allows, when you're playing a song, it allows you to focus more on your strumming, your D7th chord, and it's going to use the E7th chord. And it's also going to use the A chord. And I think that's it. We'll use A, yeah, A and then A7. So as a reminder, if you haven't seen the A major chord, A is 2 fingers. So A7, where you've got your first finger at the first fret of the 3rd string, take your middle finger, your 2nd finger, and press down at the 2nd fret of the 4th string. And that's the A major chord. And so it's not easy to move between the two. So A major, A7. Drop your 2nd finger down, A major, A7. Okay. So here's the song we're going to test things out on. Janine, you're gonna have to get going pretty soon, but do you have time to do one walkthrough of the song? Okay. The strumming pattern we're going to use, you can use a simple strum. You can use your thumbs just to do a downstroke on the beat, like 1, 2, 3, 4, or you can use your finger to do a downstroke, 1, 2, 3, 4, or we can do a swing rhythm where we're going to do down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So big, like heavy down, light upstroke, and then a more forceful down. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down. You can also just do stay pace with our just down beats, right? The song goes like this. See rider, see what you have done, A7. And now D7, C rider, see what you have done, A major. Now go to A7. You made me love you, and there's E7. And now we're going to D7. Now your friend has come, A major. Now go to A7. One more time. C rider, see what you have done, A7. D7. C rider, see what you have done, A major. A7. You made me love you, but now your friend has come. A7. Okay, let's just go through the chords. A major, A7, D7, D7, A major, A7, E7, D7, A7, C rider, see what you have done, A7, now D7, C rider, see what you have done, A major, A7, E7, you made me love you, now D7, but now your friend has come, A7, and let's do a tremolo, and we're going to finish on A7, just like that. All right, extra things on this blues song, right? So this is a little bit more intermediate. All right, so when we're doing downstroke, we can do a bit of a blues shuffle with our strumming with our left hand. So we're doing 1 and 2 with our right hand. We're strum and 2 and 3 and 4, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, but with the A major chord, where we're playing A major, right? First finger at the first fret of the third string, and second finger at the second fret of the fourth string. Now, if we can take our third finger, ring finger, and drop it down at the second fret of the third string, and it creates a little suspension. Right? So down, down. All right. So we'll go down, down, down. So down, up, down. All right. So we're going to drop that third finger on. Down. See how we're just rocking back forth? Dropping down that third finger and picking it back up. Now go to D7. Now go back in. Go to E7. Oh, see what I did there? We added a little bit of interest to our D7th chord, right? Look at this. This is the D7, the open position D7. But if you've got space if you can do this with your pinky, you could drop your pinky down at the third fret of the first string. It looks kind of uncomfortable, but it's actually not too bad. It's a good way to strengthen this finger. It's a really good way to strengthen it. And then back down to A. So we've tried a couple of those things, right? So this is more intermediate, more advanced, but let's try it. So A, rocking back forth, dropping that third finger back and down, picking it back up at the second fret of the third string. Now D7. Press down with your third finger at the third fret. E7, D7, and drop down, press down to the third fret, and then back to A, and the A7. All right, that's it for today. Thanks everyone for joining us for another round of the Tuesday Morning U Club. We do this every Tuesday on Zoom, and it's a pay what you can kind of event, but if you can send a donation for the video, if you really enjoyed and learned, send it to paypal.me/I-love-music-and-math. paypal.me/I-love-music-and-math. All right, and I'm David Pollon. I'm your host, and I'm from Bear Creek Interactive. You can find us on Facebook. All right, take care. Bye for now. See you next time.